Where people are going to really learn about NFTs is authentication. Millions of videos on the internet in the next 10 years saying we never said.
Yeah.
Deepfake AI videos, right?
Yeah.
How are we going to prove that?
That inscription
That's it.
combats
That's
it.
right. That's why this is such a big deal. What people don't know right now is they're going to interact with the internet like we all do now, and we're going to interact with the blockchain to prove that it's true.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's it. All right, Vayner Nation, a very exciting podcast. I'm sure you're seeing it in the title. Got a great entrepreneur with me talking about a fun project that we did together, and then just kind of talking about him and his journey and the game. And so what most drives me to want to do this podcast is I think he represents all of us. Like, it's just a real story. All of us on the other side of this podcast are fucking living, trying to figure it out, trying to build, trying to grind. Every one of us has our advantages and our vulnerabilities. And I'm excited about this podcast. So, my man, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Why don't you tell everybody who you are and what you do?
I'm Will from Canvas MKTG, founder of Pocket Mounts, and I'm a collector. I'm a collector. Was always that the nerdy black dude, you know, like Pokemon, and but growing up in the town that I grew up in, like, that stuff was frowned upon. And
How old are you now, Will?
I'm 37.
You know, it's crazy. I'm 49. Isn't it crazy that, like, to your point, because I grew up in lower middle class, very urban areas most of my life. Mm-hmm. It's crazy to watch comic, anime, like nerd culture penetrate not only white America, but black America.
Yeah.
Like, the thought of, like, when you're 30, which 7?
37, yeah.
Like, the thought of when you were 12, especially in the kind of neighborhoods you grew up in, like, for you to walk out with a Dragon Z hoodie, you would have got fucking clowned on.
Yeah, and
now it's the freshest shit in the game.
Yeah, exactly. And
does that blow you away to see, like, are you happy for the 11-year-old, you know, dark-skinned kid who, like, can be nerdy?
Yeah, they got a chance. They have an absolute freaking chance. And I had a chance too. I just didn't know it. And I remember the first, like, flip I ever made was with Pokemon cards when I would do things good. And I would have to do a lot of things to earn the $5 or $10.
Of course.
Throughout the week for my grandpa to take me on Saturday to get a pack. And I would stash hollows and save them. And there were kids that didn't mess with kids like me. But when I had Blastoise and I had Charizards, they had $80. They had $120. And my grandpa, you know, he was a coin collector. So he saw me doing this. So now he's like, let's go get a pack, you know what I mean? And, like, let's go get a pack, see if we can get one of those Charizards for William Wong. And because, you know, I don't want to say I was feeding my family, but I was bringing in income when we were on food stamps. I tell people all the time, like, food stamps should not be on a card. They used to be like actual food stamps, and family members would send us down to the store with a food stamp to get, like, a piece of candy and get the cash change back. You know?
That racket.
You know, and so yeah.
Why don't you give context to everybody, because I know your story, but they don't. Like, so where did you grow up? And
I grew up in Radford, Virginia. Beautiful family, you know, the Curry family. That was our family, and Steph and Seth would come up very often. Sonya and Dale would always bring them up to hang out with us and get acclimated, you know. We weren't the rich kids. We were the scrappy ones, you know, and we squabbled. It wasn't no telling. A lot of people get that misconception of Steph and Seth, you know, the light-skinned soft kids, but no, they'll squabble up. Yeah, and you know, they would come hang out with us a lot, and we're just close-knit family. It's not like that today. I hate that, but, you know, as youngsters, we were super duper close.
Cousins life.
Yeah.
How many were there?
Family. Steph and Seth, Sadell, me, then all the other aunts got kids, you know, Mercedes, Lexus, Cameron Brink, Cy Brink, and the Bogues would be around a lot, like Ty Bogues. And
so that would be your grandma and grandma's kids. That was who you guys were, right?
Oh yeah. My grandma's Yeah, my dad. My dad. It was my dad's generation. And Sonia and all that good stuff. That's I think cool. My grandmother and Sonia's mother are sisters.
What is canvas marketing?
No bullshit. It's, it's real deal. And I search for high-end art. Like to stay away from AI artists. When I first got into it, collaborating with people for sales and views, but now that it is where it is, I try and keep it like Lucky Monk, straight up, no AI. I love AI, but for art, not so much with what I'm trying to do. I use AI every day. I use it to build canvas and pocket mounts. Ask a lot of detailed questions. Prompts. I'm very familiar with it, but for
what is Pocket? For everybody who's listening.
Well, this is the story. I was working with this guy, Jesse Ping, to do a regular smegular autograph deal for it's like $100K deal. And we got the autos and we never touched the project again because we got into this. And so the first one I ever made, I put it on Solana because we're like crypto degens in my group. So we put it on Solana. And Jesse was like, Jesse, Charlie Lee? Like, just forget about this project or the autos or the money. I don't care about the money. Just get me in front of Charlie Lee and let me tell him about this, And I remember I went and I took it to him and, he just kind of looked at me and just like tapping his leg. He didn't really say nothing. And he asked me every question in the world to make me think that I had nothing. You know what I mean? Like asked me very difficult questions. And then he said, well, this is cool, but if it was on Bitcoin, it might interest me. And so
that's when the ordinals thing came in.
Exactly. Then he was like, I know a guy named Danny, and maybe you guys can connect. He introduced me to Danny Yang, founder of OCM.
Yep.
And Danny Yang, he inscribed the first 10,000 ordinals on the block on Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. So what we started doing, he was like, I don't have any monkeys because we sold them all after I told him about the idea. And so he was like, you know what? I don't believe with you. I'm gonna double back and start buying these monkeys back.
Yep. On-chain monkeys, right?
Yep, the on-chain monkey ordinals. We started buying them back.
Yep.
And we started turning them into physical products made out of True View glazing is what it's mounted with.
Okay.
And if you take your phone right now and just wave it around that on-chain monkey, you will see that Danny Yang has made a dual inscript. No camera, just wave just wave it around there and it'll pop up. You will see that Danny Yang has dual inscribed these OCMs.
There we go.
And it's just it would be really hard to fake this with the inscription leading to the blockchain, and it shows the family of where that particular monk has derived. And I think that this is the way that all NFTs should be. Everything should be tangible. I like the Rosetta Stone effect, that after thousands of years after that has deteriorated, that you can still go back and see what it was. But as I think it should be physical to start with.
Right. So you're a big proponent of the concept of both digital and physical collectibles being tied together.
And the digital for the simple fact of authentication.
Of course.
The authentication is done at the inception.
I mean, there's a major, as we're filming this, there's a major devastating issue in sports memorabilia right now, where one of the biggest, if not the biggest, I've just seen the headline, so I haven't gone deep, but there's a substantial hundreds of millions of dollars fraud memorabilia situation happening in the sports memorabilia world. And of course.
That leads to my second gift.
Please. That's very cool.
So check that auto out and tell me if you think that could be faked. No, because that autograph was authenticated at the inception.
Is this also
at the absolutely. Yep. At the creation of that piece of art. And when Steph signed, right after he signed it, right after we made it, we authenticated it. So you don't have to send that anywhere else. You can. PSA will grade that.
Of course.
But as far as you knowing, like, is this even real? Or is this a fake cert? Like, we don't even put, like, this is our cert.
Yeah, but that's not needed in the world we're going into.
It's not needed.
Let's take a step back so people get to know you a little bit more. When did your fascination with the blockchain or the crypto universe start? Do you remember your day one?
From I was working with an artist. We were making great money. And
was Canvas at this point in existence?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We were on our...
What year was this?
This is very recent.
Yeah.
Pocket Mouse is only a few months old. And, the artist, he put out a Steph Curry project without us, which was weird after we had made 5. So I reached out to this lawyer, Sean Slattery, and I was like, seeing what to do.
Right.
And when I met him...
When you met the artist?
When I met the lawyer.
When you met the lawyer?
He was like, well, yeah, we can definitely handle this. But he's like, but I see something about you. And my brother is just like you. And he said, my brother's almost like Peter Lick, which Peter Lick is this guy that frontal mount. He's a photographer that has frontal mounted museum glass artwork. And he said, you have to meet him. I know once you meet him, you're going to even forget about this guy and you're going to move on to something else. So after I met, we call him the master of mounts, MJ Slattery. After I met him, I was like, yeah, I'm done with that bull crap. I'm not focusing on that anymore. They got me. That's what pirates do. I'm locking in right here, right now with MJ, and we're going to create something that is unfuckwittable. And week after week, we've first it started with the archival inks. So, we want to make like a museum masterpiece, like Peter Lick, When you go in there, it's beautiful, that gallery. And that's what we wanted you to feel when you have these lined up on the stand, and the way the museum glass kind of like looks in the sun. Of course. And
so everybody wanted to start with a little bit of context of Will. We're going to get back to that in a minute. I'm going to just jump in the cross section. Adam Rips and I got to work with Will and his team at Canvas Marketing and team up on this drop that we have, which is the V Friends manga series sticker with some incredible art that is done by their team, and some Steph Curry autos. A lot of you know our Super Stickers product. There's a one-of-one dual auto of GaryVee and Steph Curry. That's a lot of fun. And that product is really been exciting. We sold out and pre-sold it out. It's obviously, by the time you're listening to this podcast, it's out in the market. You can check out the eBays and the Twitters and the Discords. But what really was exciting for me is understanding I'm sure if you're listening, you can see, like, I get excited about artists and people that are creative and trying to bring a little bit of that old world and new world together. And I think what Canvas Marketing is doing quite a bit of that. So real quick, because I don't think we fully nailed it. Well, Canvas Marketing represents artists.
You're asking me. I don't even like you're asking me that.
Well, I'm asking you because it's yours.
That's a great question. Honestly, Canvas Marketing is me hustling my ass off.
Yeah. And
making a way and a living for my family without selling drugs or using drugs.
My man.
So, I don't have because that's the life I came from.
Of course.
Where I'm right now, like, I would think, like I was telling my boy Steve today, like, I can't believe all this. And he was like, man, shut the F up. You had it in you. You just never sat down long enough. And,
good for you, my man.
Like, now I'm locked in.
And what's incredible, and this is why, like, seeing your transition and understanding your story, it's so motivating. It's why I wanted you on the podcast. Like, there's so many people. When do you think, when you said, I can't believe this, I'm starting to lock in, when do you think you started to lock in? At what age?
After, I had to learn by going to jail.
Of course. That's a way to learn.
And, if you look at my hands, all these scars, I was an intravenous heroin user. Fentanyl just came around during Corona. And I was on my way out. And a loved one of mine had died and overdosed. And from there, I was fighting for my life then.
When that person passed, Did that scare you? And
Oh, dude,
that shook you?
I see it
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
But you also saw it before, like, I mean, you
not face to face.
Got it.
Where
It
like
got
I
close
walk
enough,
in
right?
and I see the glassy blue eyes, like it just haunts
changed
me.
you.
Yeah, it messed me up, and I called police immediately, and after that, I was fighting after that, and I really was just laying down thinking like, whatever happens, happens. If I do, and when I do get a chance, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna make Sonya proud, because I felt devastated that I'd let down, the Currys that had invested so much. And I was out in San Diego because Sonya had spent lots of money to send me to Michael's house. 3 days there, suicide attempt. I got 5150'd. They're like, you're not getting your money back, and he can't come back here. And then I was in like state institutions after that, because I kept she paid for me to go to another place, and then I did what addicts do.
Yep.
Maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yep.
And then after that, and I remember like Cameron Brink and them. She was just a little girl, and her mom Shelly and Greg came, and I should have locked in then, because I was like, man, they came all the way down to see me.
There's no should.
Yeah.
You were fighting.
I was fighting.
Bro, you were fighting.
Yeah.
There's no should.
They came pick me up from my sober living. They Ubered me from my sober living to watch Cam play, and my family was coming back. And then after so many relapses, I lost everybody. Seth doesn't even answer me, or Dell, but Steph does. Aisha does, And I went to high school with Aisha, and she was always like, and I was like that black kid, wore rebel flags, just like weirdo, low key, you know what I mean? Yeah. No real home training until the Currys like got me, and then kind of like taught me everything. Like Dale taught me match my belt with my shoes, and how to tie a fishing hook, and how to handle a 12 gauge, and how to dove hunt, manly thing. Yeah. And Sonya taught me education. When they first got me, I was illiterate.
How old were you?
I was like 14 years old. Yeah. And, at Radford, they just kind of let me go so I could play sports. I was great.
Athletic.
I was a great athlete, and I was a charmer. I'd go in there and have an F and charm the teacher, and then get some extra.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I would do
I know that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rip, show this man my report card. It's gonna connect us. Yeah, you can take it down.
Oh yeah, I probably had a couple look like this.
Oh, bro, you're gonna like this. This is all 4 years of high school. Check this out. I love bringing this one out.
Oh yeah, that's ceramics. Oh yeah.
Tell them what I got in ceramics.
A C.
Everybody got an A. Every single kid in that class got an A. Do you know how much work it takes to get a C in ceramics? That's how bad. By the way, look all the way down. Do you see that number all the way at the bottom? Class rank all the way at the bottom of the paper.
1.67.
GPA, class rank 243 out of 254.
Oh wow, that was me.
Yeah.
That was me for sure.
So I get it.
That was me.
Yeah. And the charm helped me get through too. Yeah. When people are like, how'd you graduate high school? I'm like, charm.
Yeah.
Charm.
That's how I know Seth can squabble, because he would always call me retarded, or because he knew that would hit me.
And then you would beat him. You go at him.
Squabbling, But Steph was always like,
sweet.
Bro.
Yeah.
I remember like my senior year, I'd done everything I needed to do to get a freaking scholarship.
Yeah.
But I had to make like a C in Spanish.
Yeah.
And Steph was like taking Spanish at Davidson. Mm-hmm. He came home. I was like, I'm going to give him this take-home test. He's going to take it. I'm going to college. Boom. Man, he gets home, and I give him the test, and he's like, wait, I'm not going to do that for you, man. He's like, but I'll tell you what I will do. He's like, I'll sit here and study with you. And I was like, what? I'm like ready to squabble.
Mad.
And I remember I was like, bro, you don't love me. Like, you don't love me, man. This is what I got to do. Every summer coming near the end of school, I would be grounded because I'd be failing Spanish, Like, he could have helped me out, or he could have cheated for me and gave me that. But he sat down for hours. He made a different test. Like, he looked at the test, made a test of the test, gave it to me, failed, made another test, gave it to me. It was like 11:30, finally 12. He gave me the last one. He's like, you got it, go. And I was like, he left, and I sat there with the damn test, and I took it. I was panicked. I took it, turned it in, and I passed.
It's awesome story, bro.
Like that's the dude he is.
Yeah, it's nice. Tell me about On-Chain Monkeys. How did that first hit your radar?
Oh wow, Charlie Lee. Charlie Lee's been like an angel. Me and the Master of Mounts, we speak all the time, and we wonder if we don't have Nakamoto in our camp. It's the way we see some of these re-inscriptions and some of the stuff. We know we're working with real crypto OGs.
Yeah.
That and then and collectors, like Charlie's collections out in this world. And so when we started doing this, is about the same time the Pokemon thing had happened with Charlie's cards. He had purchased some of those from the creator, and after that we kind of vowed, like, we're going to make sure that our guy doesn't get hit like that. Like, let's change this so that people that love this stuff aren't being taken advantage of, because that's what we're seeing. We're seeing that there's a group of people that aren't like us, that see people like us that genuinely love sports cards and memorabilia, and then they want to bring their real world crap into our space. And so we just want to make it so that our space is ironclad, and if you're coming in, you're not going to be able to just like dupe our people.
Yeah, I understand. What about, where do you sit on the part of digital only art versus physical only art, and then finally what you're passionate about is connecting to? Do you think there's a place for all three? Do you think it inevitably ends up what you're talking about? What's your gut tell you?
Yeah, I think there was a place for all three, but after what happened with the digital NFTs, it's dead. Like,
do you know that $124 million worth of NFTs sold last week?
I'm not
to me, that's been like the shocking stat I've been telling everyone, because you're right, the brand is very hurt, but it's really, that shook me too. I looked it up last week, and it was 2 weeks ago actually, so we're into
and NFTs, we're speaking Ethereum, right?
No, actually it was a mix. It was I looked up all NFTs. Tons of Ethereum, some immutable, because gaming, I mean, one of the biggest things that's about to happen with layer 2s is driving down the cost of minting and all the gas fees with Solana, layer 2s on Ethereum, immutable. I think one of the biggest places remember, for everyone's listening, NFTs don't just mean collectibles, right? They're non-fungible tokens. They're contracts, they're memberships, like we did with Flyfish. There are a lot of things. It's ownership on the blockchain. Now that it doesn't cost the kind of money to make one or trade one, and they get down to the nano pennies, I think you're gonna see that axe or that gun that you buy on Fortnite. Instead, like, think about the kids that are listening right now. You grew up on Minecraft or Roblox, then you went to Fortnite, then you went to Madden or 2K in your video game journey. When you left Minecraft to become a Fortnite kid, all those hundreds of dollars you spent buying up shit stayed stuck in a server-based, not blockchain-based world. You know how cool it's going to be that the Fortnite, Roblox, and blockchain and Minecrafts of the world in 15 years. Parents, you're going to really like this part. It's kind of like, like the fact that you've played all those digital games, but you actually own those items, and then when you go to the next thing, you sell your ownership of that sword, that gun, that suit, that hat. These digital ownership thing, I think, in video games, in gaming, is going to be a major thing. And then there's the top 1%. Just like, by the way, back to physical art. The Rashid Johnsons, the Jackson Pollocks, the Andy Warhols, like, there's artists that are worth something. And then there's 99% of art, 99.9% of art, physical. Pictures that hang on walls all over the world are not worth a lot of money. I think the 1% of NFTs, CryptoPunks being at the top, because they don't have to do anything, it's just history, I think will be something. And then I think finally, where people are gonna really learn about NFTs is authentication, just like you're doing, just like the blockchain, whether it's ordinals or Ethereum or some blockchain that gets invented and wins. I think all of us with deepfake video, look, me, Steph, you, Rips, On-Chain Mike, everybody, but definitely for someone like Steph and me, millions of videos on the internet in the next 10 years saying shit we never said.
Yeah.
Deepfake AI videos, right?
Yeah.
How are we going to prove that?
That inscription
That's it. You got it.
combats
That's
it.
right.
So
no shit. That's why this is such a big deal. That's right.
Type that in ordinals.
I got it.
It's going to pop up and it's going to show you that.
What people don't know right now is they're going to interact with the internet like we all do now, and we're going to interact with the blockchain to prove that it's true.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yes.
That's the punchline.
And I totally agree with
Yep.
that. Yep. And I just think a physical aspect should be brought to it because we don't connect necessarily. I don't connect with things that I can't taste, touch, feel, hear, and see.
Let me ask you a question. For the most layman person, obviously, Steph, you sat down with this trading card. We have a trading card here if you're not watching, you're just listening. And Steph signed it. And then he
signed a sheet of paper. He signed the metallic photo paper.
Yep.
And then I take that back to San Diego.
Yep.
In the hood.
Yep.
And we take right off
not the bougie part of San Diego.
Right off Rosecrans near Les Girls, and we get down. But
get real quick for the lamest person, if I just signed this and it wasn't me,
it's not underneath the glass. Take that out of there, and that autograph is mounted underneath the glass.
I see.
So it's archival. The whole piece is made to archive evidence. It's to archive my family's history. The metadata on it is to archive what Steph has done.
But even if I put it under the glass, let's say I do this and try to replicate this, can I inscribe this onto the blockchain?
How are you going to mount?
What do you mean mount?
That's true view glazing. So you got to.
But you've got true view glazing, right?
The master of mounts has access to this machinery. So
Would anyone else? I'm just playing. I'm just trying to educate the masses.
I don't think it's something that just like a regular smuggler person could
do.
Knock off. Yeah.
One of the things I'm thinking a lot about is it never being in the ether. So one of the ways I think about physical and blockchain is you make these. There's an NFT connected to it, but this actually sits in a vault. Right? It just sits in a vault. And if I want it, then I burn the NFT and the physical comes to me.
You can, okay, so
that's just a different, by the way, that's a totally different thing than you're doing. I'm just kind of, for the audience.
But you can't do that.
No, yours is different. To your point.
There's a wallet.
Correct.
There's a seed pod inside of there.
Yep.
So if you were to destroy the art,
yes,
the seed pod contains the seed phrase to access your wallet. So they are truly both.
Understood.
Attached.
Understood. I'm just trying to give people some different angles out there. What about what's got you most excited artistically? Let's take away the
Lucky
technology. But take that we know and we've established, and everybody will check that out. Just in general, as a creative person, what are you seeing out there? What are the trends? What are you getting attracted to? Anything stand out for you?
Manga art. Yeah, I'm loving the Japanese culture, and
I agree.
The get down. Lucky Mong is a dog. If you see how fast we work, a lot of people don't know about our To Be Continued series. It's just very fresh.
That's what's here,
and it's
tell them how to find it. Let's start with that.
Well, you find it by being a Warriors fan and and a Canvas fan, and following us at Canvas MKTG. And after these Warriors games, I'm watching them right there with you guys. And after the game, or during the game, I'll come up with a moment that will capture, and I'll tell Lucky Mong, turn this into this, or, and then he'll laugh and be like, all right, let's do it. And, he's on a different time zone, so I'm up doing what I'm doing till 1 or 2, and then by the time I wake up 6 or 7, he's completed the art and he's sent it to me and the master of mounts. So as soon as I wake up, I go straight down to San Diego and we get to
working.
Yeah, we get to work, man. We, just some nerdy stuff, CNC with the glass and mounting and duck woven cotton backs and running through the diamond edge finish. And, the very first one we didn't look anything like that.
Sure, you're iterating up.
The chip was this big, we don't like to say chip, it's uninviting. We call it a tag, near field communication device.
Which is why it pops up on your phone.
Exactly.
NFC chip.
And it leads to your
NFC
order.
tag.
Yeah.
I got you.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm a salesman. So
I get it. That charm.
Exactly. That charm.
Before we get out of here, I want to know I like talking about origin stories. Origin of your nerdum. Was it Pokemon, or was there something even before Pokemon that got you going?
It was coins. It was my grandpa and his coins.
Flea markets?
Man, my grandpa just collected coins. And as a kid, I would sit on his lap and he'd pull this box out, and like he wouldn't even pull his box out until he's getting ready to go to bed after he ate his sardines and shit. You know what I mean?
It was a late night thing.
Yeah, and he would show me like his Susan B. Anthony silver dollars and wheat pennies. And then later in my days, as I started dealing with crack and cocaine and stuff, remember I took some work to my mother, and she taught me the wheat penny trick. You know, she's like, "You find one of these pennies made before this date, like
it's worth money.
Heat the dope up and put it in there. Then all the dope sticks to that penny. Of course. You know, so I had caught an infatuation with collecting wheat pennies because of that. Man, no matter what, my mom, I always loved my mom. Man, she loved me too. She's addiction. It runs in the family. You know,
it's
I'm here to crush that.
I'm proud of you, bro.
And get rid of that.
Stop the lineage.
Man, let's sell this art. That's me and my son. Like, I have so much respect for the West Coast Card Show and that guy Jay Costco and his son Costco and FD and his son, like rolling with like the dads in the hobby that are bringing their kids. The boom dudes, you know, like that's gonna be me. Y'all get ready to pick on me and my little son, cause I'm bringing him into this, you know. I don't want him going into that.
Of course.
Like my grandparents, they tried to put me into the hobby and put me into Boy Scouts, and all you fools out there made me feel like I was not black or a nerdy fool.
I get it.
And so now I want to sell drugs and be like,
of course, you want to be cool. I get it. I remember.
And you know, Jay-Z, shout out to him, because listening to him grow in music as I listened to him in the early days when I'm trapping, and then listen to him grow and he's buying art. That definitely
had an impact.
Like, all right, if Jig is doing it,
then that's cool.
Then
that's it.
You know,
that's right.
Yeah, I'm mimicking.
Let's go somewhere very deep to wrap up. Given my knowledge of my audience, let's talk to two different people here.
Yeah.
You can really help. Well, I'm gonna give you the floor to help.
Yeah.
First, I want you to talk to the parents that are listening and the grandparents that are listening that have a child that's fighting.
Leave them the hell alone. That was the hardest thing Sonia had to do. But she was, you know, and Steph too, when they would help me,
it would hurt.
I wasn't doing anything good with the help. So, you know, I know that was probably the hardest thing for Sonia, to just be like, bro, you're effing up, you know? And I was either going to die or I was going to figure it out. But because of the things that they taught me as a youngster, I was able to get out, you know?
You had enough pieces there.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a really good call out to break that down for a lot of parents, because I get a lot of these DMs and emails, and I always think that it's important to talk from a place of living it. I've not had to deal with that level of addiction, or even anyone in me, myself, nor anyone in my family. Though the Russian uncles did love to drink the fuck out of alcohol. Russia did pound that alcohol. But, you know, I think for some parents, especially if their child goes through it, you know, if those first 10 years of a kid's life, you know, if you feel like you've been able to put the pieces in place, you know, to your point, trusting that that's enough to get them to the other side, that's almost impossible. That's like almost the most impossible. The fact that was so heavy what you just said, like this is why I wanted to do this, and thank you. When you just said emphatically, leave them alone, that is the complete opposite of what every parent who's listening right now that is battling this would think.
And me, what I had to realize was not to trust the doctor. My addiction started in the doctor. Then I go to get help from the doctor, and they gave me Suboxone and Subutex and those things, and I never felt normal. And then, like, when I would relapse and smoke marijuana or have a mushroom trip and it lead me to really reevaluate myself, those were deemed as bad. But I had to go with the truth that corresponded to my reality and not the truth that corresponded to the government or the doctor. And the truth that corresponded to my reality was that the marijuana was keeping me
in a good place.
You know,
you mean that natural plant?
That natural plant. You know, a lot of my charges criminally were for cultivation of mushrooms, because once I knew that the mushrooms were changing me, I started cultivating mycelium and trying to heal myself.
You know, it's funny. You went naturally to my next question was, what about the person that's listening that's battling it right now?
Get away from anything the doctor's going to give you. That's not doctor's advice, but that's my black ass advice.
Yep.
From someone that, I mean, look, I'm down 35 pounds, you know, shot on Peloton, Allie Love, and Hannah Frack.
Let's go.
You
That's
know
amazing.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
what about the people around you?
They're dogs. My partner.
No, I apologize for the people that are listening.
Oh yeah.
To your point, you gave your black ass advice on one thing.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your black ass's point of view on the people that are around you during the time that you're in that quote unquote bad place. This is something I've analyzed from afar, and I haven't had family members nor myself, but I've had a lot of acquaintances and dear friends go through this. I'm always curious about your take for someone auditing their circle when
do it by yourself. Stay away from others. Look at what happened to me when I told you earlier, you know? Like that's the worst, man. Just be by yourself and do it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably not the best, but
bro,
when you're...
honestly, this is as real as it gets.
Yeah.
This is not about you giving the right advice.
Yeah.
By the way, on the record, I'll take this PSA for myself. All the shit I spew on earth, all of it, and I spew a lot of shit. I talk a lot of game. I do not think it's the right advice. I think it's the right advice for some people in certain situations.
Yeah.
Like let this be very clear. Like some people should only work 9 to 5. Maybe they, some people should work 9 to 9. Some people need to desperately be patient. A lot of you are confusing patience with complacency and entitlement. Some of you listening to me when I'm like, be patient, you're only 25, you should be patient. Yeah. You're actually need the complete opposite advice. I don't know you like that. I'm talking macro. Some of you hear me and use me to weaponize against your parents. They're like, GaryVee says I'm only 26. I got time. Yeah, but I don't know that you're on the other side of this podcast and you've been laying on the couch from 22 to 26, doing nothing, taking mommy and daddy's money, and you're fucking lazy.
Yeah.
You, I'm not telling patience. You, I'm telling get your fucking ass up and do shit. So again, good. I just want you to hear this from me. Mm-hmm. This isn't about you giving the right advice. What is the right advice? This is you've lived a life that a lot of people on the other side of this podcast right now can benefit from hearing what you've got to say.
And I hope they do.
Well, I know that about you, which is why I'm giving you the fucking arena, my guy.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Bro, I love this partnership, but I promise you, I'm not doing this podcast because of this partnership. You know, we could promote this differently, and I could get you plenty of shine for Canvas marketing and be supportive. I'm doing this podcast because I think you could help people.
Yeah.
You understand?
And
if one fucking person's been listening the whole time, because you know, you're different, I'm different, we're all different. If one fucking kid has been listening for this last hour, and the whole time you're talking, they're like, yeah, I get it. Yeah. That's me. And you just help them. Well, that's the fucking punchline of my life. That's what I want to happen.
The crazy thing is, like, the addiction started as a kid, you know, knee surgery, this, going in grandma's cabinet, and really, like, if you're a parent.
What was in grandma's cabinet? I want to hear that part.
Vicodin, and Percocets, and cough syrup.
How old are you when you feel like it started early?
Probably like 14 years old, you know, and now right. Like we're all taking pills from one of little small town Radford, Virginia.
Of course.
And then they're going to lock you up, and you know, and it's just all bad. And the best thing to do is to just be like Steph. Be like Steph and be locked in. Do the right thing even when nobody's watching, and don't tune
out the noise.
Tune out the noise, yeah.
Because that's the fucking thing that fucks everyone up. Absolutely. To your point. Like you and I'm older than you, but you caught the tail end of it. Now we're in a little bit of a different era. Thank God for Gen Alpha and Gen Z, where you can be a little bit more of an individual.
Yeah.
But like, fuck, man, if you did not have a starter jacket and you did not wear ridiculously baggy jeans and you didn't wear fucking Timbo boots in my school, Well, then you were a puss. So you
I
were
wore Jinkos.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know
fair
what
enough.
I mean? I was a nerdy black kid.
I get it. And by the way, I was in Jersey, more city, even though I was in a rural part in high school where that moved more like, but it was still, it doesn't matter if we're talking about Z Cavaricci's, if we're talking about Jams, if we're talking about later Levi, it doesn't really matter. Everybody listening can replace the brands that you and I just mentioned. Everybody here, by the way, if you grew up in Santa Clara, California, that was more Vans life. You had to be more of a surfer dude. Your hair had to be long. Nobody listening is confused by what I'm saying. We all went through middle school and high school where whatever the fashion was of the general area we were in, that if you were not conforming, you were an outcast. And when you're fucking 10 to 20, you're desperate to belong.
Yeah.
My big thing for everyone who's listening is if you're over 30 right now and you're still playing that keeping up with the Joneses, you need to fucking change up your script.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's killing the world. And for the kids, all those highlight reels you see on social media, those are curated. People aren't talking enough real shit. People are showing you their highlights. People are fucking taking fake photos. I watch people, I live in New York City, I travel around a lot. You literally see people take photos with other people's cars as if it's theirs.
Yeah.
Like in the street.
Perpetrating.
There was a crazy startup in Russia that literally created a fake environment that was a private plane, and people were paying to walk in it to take a photo to post on social media.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So for the kids, like, please get smart. Like, first of all, let me take you to the deepest end on this while I'm on this rant. There's a bigger thing, which is nobody's happiness and success is taking from yours.
Yeah.
People's envy and jealousy has been triggered with all these realities of getting so much exposure. And we had it in the 80s, like Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. My mom watched that show. I saw that show.
Yeah.
Like Dallas and Dynasty. And then your generation had it. Like, even though we didn't have quote unquote social media, we had fucking MTV Cribs.
Yeah.
And like people knew what that was. Like I love how everyone's like, it's social media's fault. We've always looked up to shit.
Yeah.
But now we've become less confident.
Yeah.
And we need to figure that out.
I love that you said that, because when I stopped focusing on other people and was just like, I'm gonna do what I can do to be the best that I can to archive my family's history and Steph's image. That's when I started.
Got happier.
Yeah.
That's right.
Happy, yeah, for sure.
Bro, it's real. Like, if you're crying about what someone else has that you don't have, you're gonna lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're gonna lose.
Yeah.
My man, thank you for being on.
No, thank you.
Before you bounce up and chat one more time, because I want to make sure people find you if they want. How does the world that's listening, not only when we launch this, but over the years and years and years that this will be consumed, how do people find you?
You can read out that inscription number right there, and they can, for that immutable art, they can find that. But no, Canvas MKTG .com and Canvas MKTG. That's my IG. That's my
Twitter,
my Twitter,
Instagram, all
yeah,
that.
I think it's Canvas_MKTG for Twitter, and pocket mounts. Get familiar with pocket mounts and that brand, and that's one thing.
Please, let's talk about it.
I started out as the founder and CEO of Pocket Mounts, and the hardest decision I was always like, I'm never selling the company or giving anything up. And the most humbling thing I ever had to do was realize that I'm only 4 years out from my destruction, and having some leadership and guidance from people like Danny Yang and Charlie Lee might not be the worst thing. So I had to step down to a creator. I didn't have to, but I humbled myself and was like, I'm the creative director. I want to stay out of this scene.
You got to know yourself.
Yeah.
You became more self-aware from 33, 37. To your point, people are just doing that don't have major bumps in the road.
Yeah.
You had a real significant thing you went through in your youth, in your 20s and 30s. You're just getting out, and from 33 to 37, along the way, you were able to realize what, by the way, Will again is helping so many of you. So many of you are the creative, not the business person.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Danny Yang is the CEO.
and by the way, on the flip side, this is for all my business buddies. A lot of you are the business person, not the creator, and not the creative.
Yeah.
You wish. And so, that self-awareness.
That was a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, because listen, humility is the foundation of happiness.
Yeah.
My man.
And I'm more, like I said, I'm down 35 pounds. I was buying stupid shit. When I did get some money, and I'm poor. I came from nothing. I see Steph wear nice.
Yeah.
I want some Montclair. But I was like, instead of buying that, I invested in this dude at Marin Hair and Fitness who's like a mobile guy who come to your house, and he comes to my house 3 times a week. He works out with me and Liz.
Good for you.
We're both, she's down almost 20. I'm down 35. I start a little before her, but
you start with health.
Family's getting healthy, man.
Good for you, man.
And holistic. Like,
well, it's healthy in your physical, and it's healthy in your mental.
Dude, your girlfriends matter. All my partners before were, not to blame or anything, but they weren't this. I have a really supportive partner today.
And by the way, to give empathy to your prior relationships, you weren't in the best fucking place.
No, for sure.
Like, let's talk real shit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
That goes back to accountability. Like, listen, I have no clue. I'm not trying to get in your personal shit.
But I'm a leader in this world, but intimately, I'm a follower.
Good for you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So having Liz, what you're seeing right now is really like her impact of supporting me and feeding me like vegetables and making sure that I drink water. Dumb shit. Yeah. And nice, dude, it's great to have someone love you.
Man, it's nice to see you on this uptick, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Proud of you.
No, thank you.
Thanks for being on.
Thank you, Gary.